Hi guys, Jonathan here from Farmer's Friend. Today we're going to show you how to install the double zipper fabric end wall, and this is how it arrives at your house. You don't have to have any tools to install this. Just make sure you have a ladder so you can get up high enough. And what you hold your roof plastic down with cannot be used for the end wall plastic. So you have to have 2 layers of plastic anchored with 2 separate wires. The other thing that we're going to be using in this installation is some pipe, and this just goes through a pocket at the bottom to give it some weight and hold it down. It also makes it a lot easier when you go to roll the door up. So the first step is just to open your box, and we're going to lay this out flat on the ground. I was able to leave it mostly folded up, and I've positioned it just in front of the end bow of the tunnel. And what you need to do is position it to where, as you unfold this and go up with it, the side of the zipper that has the 2 flaps of plastic that are partly covering it here, you want that to be facing out. The next thing I'm going to do is slide these metal pipes into the pouches at the bottom of the door. And this does not come with the kit, but you can buy these separately from us. And you can also buy this at a hardware store or Lowe's or Home Depot. It's just chain link fence top rail. I now have my ladder positioned right in the center of the tunnel, and I have 1 piece of wire lock. I'm gonna grab the top edge of the door, and I'm gonna lift it up, trying to unfold it as I go. Doing this with 1 person is a little tricky, but what I'm gonna try to do is just lift it up to where that pipe that I put through the bottom pocket is just about resting on the ground. Once I get it where it's about resting on the bottom, I'm gonna take my wire lock and just put a little bit in, just to hold it in place. And then I'm gonna come back down the ladder and try to straighten things out a little bit. So you pull the corners up over the edge. You can slide the excess fabric underneath the rope to hold that back a little bit. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So you want this pocket at the bottom to be positioned where the pipe is resting and the pocket's kind of flaring up or flaring out onto the ground. And these grommets here are to where you can stake it down so it doesn't flap. So you don't want it up too high or else you can't do that. So just about like that. I have the end wall panel where it's centered in the tunnel. So what I'm gonna do is wrap this around and go ahead and start a wire lock and just go up just a couple inches. Now I'm gonna go over to the other side and do basically the same thing, pulling it tight across. So I wanna get it at the right height. On this side, you don't wanna pull it too tight because then you'll be putting a lot of strain on the zippers and it'll make it hard to get them open and closed. But pull it tight and then kind of let off just a little bit so it has a little bit of slack. And then I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna put some wire into the channel on this side. Now I've got the bottom the way I want, and I can see that I didn't put the top exactly how it needs to be. So I'll climb back up the ladder. This is why I just put a couple little snaps in here, and then I'm gonna lift the center of the tunnel back up so it takes the wrinkles out there, and that's perfect. And I'm gonna go ahead and start working my way down the right side of this tunnel. This fabric is really tough, so it's a little bit more challenging than regular plastic to get into the channel and wire it in, but it is very possible. Just take your time and it will pull into the channel and hold really tight. I've worked the wire from the peak all the way down the right side, and you can see we've gotten the wrinkles out and it looks really good. So we're gonna start at the peak and go down the left side. Now that we have it installed, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and trim this off, and I'm gonna try to leave about 4 inches of overlap. If you're planning on leaving the tunnel up, you could trim it a little bit closer to the channel. But if you're gonna be taking the tunnel down and moving it, I would recommend leaving a little bit more. Be careful while you're doing this to make sure that you don't gouge the roof plastic. It can make sense a lot of times to put the fabric of your end wall underneath the roof plastic. That way when you go to change your roof plastic, you don't have to take the end off. We decided to go ahead and just put the end wall over top of the roof plastic on this because the roof was already installed and we're going to be moving this in a few months anyways. But just keep that in mind. If you're going to have your tunnel permanent for a while and you're likely going to have to change the roof plastic before you move it, it makes sense to go ahead and take the channel and the plastic off for the roof, put the end wall in, and then put the plastic back in on top of the end fabric. Now to get in and out of the tunnel and for venting, just zip this all the way up to the top on both sides. And then with the pipe in the bottom, it makes it easy to just roll it up. And then there's clasps on the back side that you loop around to the front, clip it into the top, and that vents your tunnel. For more information on our end wall kits and to order one for your tunnel, visit farmersfriend.com.